Yeah, what's good with y'all, man? It's your boy Tick, aka Game Fanatic, the Michael Jordan, the game, and also the Rebel, the YouTube Underground. I am back with yet another Battlefield gameplay on that Dragon's Teeth DLC, and we're playing another Chain Link game mode on, I don't know what this map is called, because I still haven't learned the maps yet, but this is a fun game mode. I just love playing Chain Link. It's like domination, but it just ends a lot faster, and it takes a lot more teamwork. As you see, all the team is always together. I love this game mode. This is a great game mode. Good job on that one, DICE. Hardline still sucks. Just trash that game. I wish they would trash it. They already took it back, a little bit further. So I hope they do like Ubisoft did and they just trash that game and then they come out with Bad Company 2 because they already know about people wanting Bad Company 3. So go ahead and do that, DICE. But anyway, I also want to talk about my last video. Hey, man, I'm sorry for scaring you guys with the title and the thumbnail, man. A lot of y'all was like, man, Tick, I was scared, man. I thought you were really leaving and the podcast was going to be horrible without you and stuff like that. Hey, I'm sorry, man. I thought it was funny. Man. And a lot of y'all were saying it was a misleading title. Even Modern Warning said it. And I'm like, no, it's not, man, because I was saying this all over. Like, the beef was all over. So if you think about it, it wasn't really misleading, but it was there to mess with you also at the same time. So I got some laughs out of it. A lot of people didn't even watch the video and they were automatically coming to the conclusion that I left. They were like, man, I can't believe that you're leaving, Tick, this one, I'm like, man, did you even watch the video? And they were like, oh, no, I didn't watch the video. And I'm like, yeah, you should watch the video. It also pointed out people that don't really watch the video. They just come and look at the title and don't watch. So some of y'all got exposed. But yeah, man, sorry for that. I thought it was funny, but yeah, I'm still with the crew. We still going to do the podcast today. Today is the 29th, Tuesday or whatever. I don't know when it's going to be uploaded because, that all depends on Modern War Eagle's internet. And since y'all want video and gameplay in the background, it takes a long time. It's a really huge file that he has to upload. And he already has shoddy, slow internet. So, yeah, it could take a while. But anyway, I want to talk about something that's been bothering me for a while, man. And it has to do with the whole console war thing. And I'm not even going to include PC in it because we know how it's a console war until a PC gamer comes in there. Then the consoles unite together and then it's just console against PC. Like, y'all forget all, y'all hate against each other and then y'all just go on at PC. It's hilarious. But this is for the console gamers, man. I'm trying to help y'all out, man, because this is bothering me. I'm tired of these developers and these companies lying to y'all. A lot of them saying that, the games are running 60 frames per second, but they're really not. They'll run 60 frames per second in one spot, and then it'll just be 30 to 40 averaging the whole, pretty much the whole time. So I noticed in my last video, when I manipulated my video, and I used to do this all the time for my Battlefield gameplays, but I didn't do it for a while, and I finally decided to do it again. I kind of messed up on it because it didn't look as good to me, but it looked good to y'all for some reason. But a lot of y'all pointed out that it was 60 frames per second instead of 30. And I know a lot of y'all are console gamers, and I was like, man, they actually noticed this without me having to tell them, and y'all were like, yeah, it looks more fluid. This looks nice, man. This got to be 60. It looks smooth. And it was. I made it look 60 frames per second. Now, that tells me that you console gamers really know what 60 frames per second looks like. A lot of times when we on a podcast or whatever, when we used to read the comments, we used to see that when we talked about, frames per second and stuff like that, y'all would actually act like y'all ain't know what we was talking about. I can't tell the difference between 60 frames per second and 30 frames per second. It looks the same to me. Or, you know what? I'm cool with it. As long as the gameplay is great, I'm fine with the 30 frames per second. These were the excuses we got when y'all want to take up for your platform or your favorite game. But I see that you guys know the difference, and I went to Cookie Monster's stream and watched him stream The Last of Us Remastered on the PS4, and it was running at 60 frames per second. I was reading the comments, people were like, yeah, man, this looks amazing, 60 frames per second, it feels so much better and stuff. And yeah, it does. 60 frames per second is known to increase your performance in the game because it moves a lot smoother. Cookie Monster said he had to turn his sensitivity down compared to how he had it in the PlayStation 3 version because of 60 frames per second. That's why we push it so much. So the way I want to help the consoles is, I think they need to stop this whole resolution war. I think both the consoles need to run the same resolution, and that resolution needs to be 720. The reason I choose 720 is, you guys mostly have upscalers on your TVs anyway. It's going to upscale it to 1080p. You wouldn't really notice the difference if it's 720p. Too much of a difference. You will notice the difference, but not too much of it. Only thing they need to focus on is the textures of the graphics, like the bitmap and the shadows, the lighting and things like that. And that's what's going to make the graphics. That's going to show which console is really stronger. Anti-aliasing, things like that. Ambient lighting, all that stuff, man. Occlusion, whatever it's called, all that stuff, man. That's going to show which console is stronger. or you can do 900p, either one of the two. So if you have them both at that level, the console that's going to be weaker is not going to be able to perform with all those textures and stuff like that and keep it locked at 60. This is all I'm doing, is I'm saying this for because I want these consoles to be locked at 60 frames per second. It makes the game play a lot better. It makes it smoother. It will feel better, and it even makes the graphics look better, man. So they need to lock it at either 720 or 900p. And then just add on to the graphics, because resolution is really not needed too much for these consoles. I mean, look at Rise on the Xbox One. It was 900p, but the graphics looked amazing. The textures were good, amazing for consoles, but the textures looked amazing. Like, it was one of the best looking console games I've seen, other than maybe Infamous Second Son. But it looked great, and it was it was only 900p, and it still looked that good. That's all they have to do. Just focus on the textures. Resolution it doesn't really have anything much to do with textures. As long as they have good textures, good anti-aliasing and everything, it's kind of hard to make a difference. I mean, resolution, you will see things a bit more clearer at higher resolutions, but still, at 720p, you would definitely still be able to recognize what's going on in that game. And you will still have that 60 frames per second, and it will probably be locked at 60 frames per second. And like I said, you will still know which console is stronger, but because the console that can't handle it won't have all the anti-aliasing, won't have all the, you know, the sharp shadows and things like that. It'll be missing certain parts in their graphics than the other one will. So you'll know which one is still strong, and it's probably still going to be PS4. But to be honest with you, the Xbox One has more graphical memory in their graphics card, so it could be the Xbox One. You don't know. But that's just my idea on, you know, getting you guys 60 frames per second locked, instead of, you know, that so-called 60 frames per second, then it drops down to 30 or 40 frames per second, the whole gameplay. And even on multiplayer, on some of the games, they would drop the resolution down to like 720 or 900p without anti-aliasing, and it's easy to notice too, because I've noticed it. But anyway, let me know in the comments how you feel about this. But this is your boy Tick, aka Game Fanatic, and I'll be back later. But I'm gone. Bye.